Hi, everybody. Welcome to an introduction to Edpuzzle in 5 minutes or less. So we're here at edpuzzle.com. The school district has said they're going to buy the license for Edpuzzle, so we shouldn't have any limits or whatever. And if you have something that's signed in on your school account or you have a Google Chrome open with your school account, you should be able to just log in. Okay, straight up. So you click log in. You may have to do the sign up if it doesn't work when you try to log in. So just keep that in mind. What can you do with Edpuzzle? You can turn any video into a video with questions embedded. So you can make it into a formative assessment. You can use it as a lesson. You can use it as homework or something like that, right? So let's go and look. Log in. I'm a teacher. Sign in with Google. Use your Google account. Bop. And we're good to go. If I'm going really fast, you can always slow the video down or watch it again. All right, so here we are on my content page. You can see here I've got videos in here. They've all got titles and the length of the videos, and there's questions on them, right? So this one contains 7 questions. This one contains 5. This one contains 6, right? So let's click on this one. Okay, so here's what the student will see and what you will see when you're trying to edit. Move my face here. Here's a list of the questions I've made already. So I've got these questions on here, and here they are spread out at the actual time of the video. Now, students can click on these, and then they can view the question. And this one is open-ended, right? So they can answer this question by typing stuff, right? They have the option if they miss that section to rewatch if they don't know the answer, or they can skip it. I'm pretty sure you can get rid of the skip option if that's not something you're into. Okay. There's also the opportunity to make multiple choice questions or checkbox questions, whatever you really want to do. You can pretty much pull it off here. Okay. In Edpuzzle in terms of making these videos happen for you. Now, let's say you've created a video like this and you want to assign it to your class. You can hit the assign button. Okay. You could also edit, duplicate, delete. You can see here that I've made, oops, I've just screwed that up. I've made my video public. That means anyone can see it. So if someone goes searching this topic on Edpuzzle, they might find my video and they could steal it and use it if they wanted to. Okay. So that's something to think about. If you want them private, keep them private. Okay. But I leave it public because I share the public link. So instead of assigning it, so when you click assign, you can assign to your Google Classroom and it creates an assignment in Google Classroom. That's what would show up over here. You'll see I don't have any classes. You can, if you don't want to use Google Classroom, add a class and then manually enter people. But who does that? Okay. You can also you can choose when it starts. So let's say you make your content a week in advance or whatever. You can choose the date that it goes live. You can choose when it's due. Okay. You can turn on the prevent skipping or you can turn it off, whatever you like. Then what I usually do instead of assigning it here in the assign button, I usually just go to the public link. So this gets rid of all of that stuff. Okay. So let's say I'm not going to assign it on a specific date, whatever. I want to sign it today, or I want to put it in a Google Doc that I'm going to use in a week and they don't see it anyway. I will copy this public link and then just put it wherever I want it to be. This will allow anyone to have access to this. Now, this does not track their scores, their progress, etc. But I use this for formative assessments anyway. So they're thinking about stuff. They're mostly for their reflections and whatnot. If you really want to track their progress, you should probably turn it into assignment. Okay. Just makes it a little bit less multifunctional. For me, I put these into the beginning of lessons and then they have 10 more pages of stuff to do. It's your life though. Do what you want. Okay. So we're back on Edpuzzle. I don't want to make a video. I want to upload a video, right? So if I want to upload a video, I hit add content. I'm in the my content section, hit add content. I can make a video right now. I can upload a video from somewhere else. Okay. There's also these other 2 things. Experiment with those on your own time. Here we go. Well, I don't have content already created. So let me go and steal some from the internet. Awesome. Edpuzzle. If you go to the Edpuzzle channel, you can see pre-made stuff and you can type in things up here. Okay. So let's say we type in social justice. All right, cool. So here's that video on social justice. Okay. Now, this has already got some questions embedded. So you can just look over this, see if you like it. And if you do, you can straight up assign it, or you could copy it, edit it, whatever. If you edit it and then save it, it'll put it in your content automatically. Let's say I want to assign it to my class. Hey, we're back to the screen again. Now we can assign it straight from here. Isn't that neat? So you can straight up steal if you want to. You can also do the same thing with YouTube videos. Look, here's that same video on YouTube, but you'll notice down here it doesn't have questions made for it yet. So if you go to steal stuff or borrow things from other sites like YouTube or Khan Academy, okay, or National Geographic, it has these videos you can search right here in the top for these topics, TED Talks, okay, all these different things. You can search for them. But only Edpuzzle will have the other people's stuff that you can straight up take. If you want to find a video from YouTube, though, you don't have to go to YouTube and then download it and put it in Edpuzzle. You can search it right here, which is pretty neat. And then from here, let's say you want to make this. Let's take the social justice one. We want to make our own, right? Want to edit this video so that it actually has questions in it, because you'll notice down here there aren't any. Okay, great. How do I do that? Instead of just assigning a blank video, like, hey, watch this YouTube video, instead, I'm going to go to edit. Edit gives me some options. Let's say there's a part of this video that I don't particularly need my students to watch. I can make a cut. So why do you cut a video? Save time by cutting sections of the video that aren't relevant. So for me as a science teacher, sometimes we want to watch a whole episode of Bill Nye the Science Guy, but I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but there's slapstick comedy stuff that's interlaced laced in there, right? So it's like learn about rocks, and it's like funny ad about rocks, and you're like, why do we need an ad in the Bill Nye? And it's like not an ad; it's like an improv comedy routine. But you're like, I don't need that. Or like every Bill Nye episode has the song at the end, and now those songs absolutely slap, but you might cut them to save like 3 minutes of time and not have your students going, the cringe, you know? All right, cool. So if you want to cut stuff, you hit cut, right? And then you go to a place where you want to hit a cut, where you want to cut, right? It has to be like a section of the video. And then you just hit add cut, and then it adds these little slidey bars. You slide the little slidey bars around, right? And you've created a cut. Okay. So I've cut this section of the video. Now you can also, yes, you can see what I'm doing here. So now I've only cut this one tiny little section, right? You can also pull the ends back if you want. So now it looks like I've got two little sections. So to play only the stuff in blue. Okay. Now I don't want any of that actually in the video. I don't want to actually make those cuts. So I am going to reset. So there, now I have no cuts in my video. All right. Hooray. Now, if you wanted to add a voiceover, so let's say you get to a point, or maybe you're clicking through slides, or you found like a Prezi or something, and then you wanted to put it in as a video or whatever. It's playing, but there's no voice, or there's a moment where you want to stop it and you want to add voiceover. You can start recording and you can record your voiceover. Now, this video has someone talking in the background. So you can imagine how annoying that would be if they're talking and I'm talking at the same time. It's probably not great. So don't recommend that. But you can always try and do that. If you hit start recording, it's going to ask to use your microphone. So if you are screencasting, you won't be able to do both at the same time. So I can't show you exactly how to record voiceovers, but I think you figure it out from here. Okay. Questions? This is the part that most teachers are into, and this is where you can add multiple choice, open-ended questions or notes, and you choose where you want to add them in your video. So at 18 seconds, let's say I want to ask a question, right? I would then put my question in. Okay. I can add additional answer choices. You can see you can choose if answers are right or wrong. So you could have multiple right answers, and then they'd have check boxes instead of, actually, I think it's always check boxes now that I think about it. Anyway, that's multiple choice. You can also change it to open-ended, and you can pop some open-ended questions in there, or you could add a note. A note would be like to clarify stuff, okay? So you can click here and type notes, additional clarifying information, or you can create an audio note by clicking here. So this is going to pause the video and allow you to add a voiceover. So let's say it's like blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, that's an interesting thing, but I want to make sure they hear my response to that. So then you would pause the video, right? You would add a note. You can add an audio note here, and it would be like, hey, it's Mr. Bauman just coming in to interrupt Bill on the Science Guy to tell you to blah, 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 blah. And then you go. So we'll save that one. And you'll notice that it's going to create a flag on our video down here, right? So let's say we go a little bit further forward and we add a multiple choice question, right? And they have the option to answer it however you enter the options. I've said yes is correct and no is wrong. Okay. There you go. There's that. And then let's go over towards the end of the video. And like this is going to be, you're going to pre-watch the video and then you'll know where you want to ask the questions, right? But then let's say like you have things to say them. This allows them to have an open-ended response area. Like obviously you'll do a better question than that. That question's real bad. Okay, so now you can see I've got 3 flags that are time-stamped, that are clickable, that show me what my questions or my notes are. Okay, and you can see them down at the bottom as well in the teacher editing page. Now, when you're done, you hit finish. Now it takes you back to the page we were on before, and you'll see here that it's got 2 things on the to-do list. They're both questions. The other thing, the note, is not on the to-do list because there's nothing to do there, but they can click on that note and they can still see it. Okay. So when you're done with this, you can then just assign it however you would. Okay. Do the thing you normally would do. If you want closed captioning turned on, do it. Hooray. Awesome. Okay. That is a better version of how to actually edit stuff in Edpuzzle.